Hi everyone, it's B007 back for a review of the film Anora, which played the London Film Festival today. I really went into this with high expectations. I have really enjoyed the films of writer-director Sean Baker, including Tangerine and The Florida Project. And I don't know how to describe my reaction to Anora other than to say that I think it's two films, both of which are very good, but are kind of jammed together in a way that undermines the other and just makes for this 2 hour, 10-minute film where everything is thrown into it. And I felt that I was kind of slogging through in the end just to get to the other side. So the first film is basically a really hilarious crime caper. And the second film is a really serious drama about a damaged woman who I think struggles to recognize and maybe accept love. The film ends with a really beautifully shot and acted emotional breakdown and indeed maybe breakthrough at the end. But we kind of have had to go through wacky races to get there. So, Anora is the name of the protagonist, and the film stars Mikey Madison, who gives a phenomenal performance in the central role. She is a stripper living in the heavily ethnically Russian Brighton Beach area of New York. And one night she picks up a feckless son of an oligarch called Ivan, who pays her handsomely and then drunkenly takes her on this wild trip to Vegas and decides to marry her, basically so that he can avoid going back to Russia and facing his parents who are trying to force him to go into the family business and end his life as a kind of drug addled playboy, just living in a mansion in New York and doing whatever he wants. In a sense, both Honora and Vanya are delusional. I think she wants to think she isn't a hooker. She bristles when anyone says she is. And she wants to think that it's a real marriage, not so much because she genuinely loves him, but so that she can escape her working class life. Like, she needs this marriage to work so she doesn't have to go back to stripping. Meanwhile, with Vanya, I think he knows full well his parents won't let the marriage stand. And frankly, I'm amazed they didn't just shoot Honora and take him home. Instead, what we get is a comedy caper in which Honora and Vanya's family's goons try to hunt down the errant boy so they can get an annulment before the parents arrive from Russia. And the goons are basically this kind of Armenian priest, I guess, and a sort of henchman. Well, actually, two henchmen. And this kind of middle, I guess, hour and a half of the film is genuinely hilarious. I mean, there is physical comedy, there are fights, there's a lot of swearing. The comedy beats are played so well by Mikey Madison and the three male actors. Sometimes it's just a glance or a physical facial reaction. I mean, it is very, very funny indeed. But then, when they find the husband, when the parents arrive on the scene from Russia, we kind of switch back into, I guess, the more serious dramatic side of the film. And again, we get back to this aforementioned handbrake turn into serious heartbreak. It ends in this beautiful moment, but I just felt it had been really undercut by what happened before. And my goodness, 2 hours, 10 minutes is a long time to sit through a film like this. The final scene of the film is really what I wanted and actually expected from Anora. I think I knew it was funny, but I didn't realize how much it was going to center that zany comedy. And it made me wonder at the end of the film if writer director Sean Baker actually cared about the character. Because when you think about it, for me anyway, she really is quite thinly drawn as a sort of superficial, foul mouthed, desperate gold digger for 90% of the film. And by the way, that's the characterization that you can give Selena Gomez's character Jessie in Amelia Perez. And in both cases, I was watching actresses who I knew could do more, being constrained by this sort of ditzy genre format. And I felt that kind of Honora was kind of breaking at the edges of that cliche, and it kind of did break through by the end of the film. But I wish we'd just got there sooner. And then I got to thinking about Honora and all the female characters and how basically they're quite thinly drawn and they're all bitches. You've got the bitch gangster wife, the bitch hooker, the bitch rival stripper. I mean, they're all these like horrible shrews. And isn't that a tad misogynistic for a film that's meant to be centering a woman? And I think, in a sense, you can give that same criticism to parts of Amelia Perez that these are meant to be female centered movies. But actually, a lot of the women that they're portraying are quite sort of thinly drawn and negatively drawn, or we just don't know their interiority. So maybe, I don't know if it's because the writer directors of both films are men, but either way, I kind of feel like I've had the rug pulled under me a little bit with both of these films. Anyways, like I said, Anora didn't quite coalesce for me. It didn't quite hang together as a film. It was overlong. I felt I was just getting jarred between the different genre. But there are individual scenes that are so phenomenal, and Mikey Madsen gives a great performance. I do still think it's worth watching. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment on the blog at bina007.com or on the YouTube channel, because I think this is a film that's going to provoke a lot of discussion and maybe mixed reviews. Anora is rated R and has a running time of 139 minutes. It played Toronto Telluride in London 2024. It opens in the USA on October 18th and in the UK on November 1st. Thank you for listening.